To beat hard walls, you're going to need to step up your aim. For medium walls, it was a matter of having better strafing, but by now you shouldn't be losing speed from holding keys at the wrong time. You can squeeze out slightly better wall shots from better strafing, but the vast majority of your improvement at this stage will be knowing what aim to use and where you should go with each wall shot to best beat the jump. Wall shots at and above this level are heavily affected by the difference in offset between stock and original, and it has a large impact on almost every jump in the course. My own ability with stock isn't good enough to properly teach wall shots at this level for that launcher, so I'd like to give a huge thanks to Coolant and Kalu for helping me understand and better teach stock wall shots. Jump 1 in hard walls requires a telesync followed by wall shots to close the gap. Either do a wall sync or a pre-fired wall shot into a regular wall shot. When doing the telesync, you want to jump out far so you have a good amount of time between when you shoot back at the start and when you sync with that rocket. Getting a bit of extra height can be helpful to give you more time to aim. When aiming at the start of the jump, aim above where you want to pre-fire, looking roughly level or only slightly down. Again, you want to give yourself as much time as possible, and if you aim too far down, you won't have much time after teleporting. As you fall, your crosshair will pass over the place that you want to telesync at. When the timing's right, shoot. Alternately, you could try tracking the spot you want to shoot at, but this is generally harder. Note that you get teleported pretty far back, so if you try to telesync all the way forward as far as you can, you probably won't be able to walk to where your pre-fire hits. Once you're mid-air at sync speed, you can pre-fire one of the walls. You don't necessarily need to sync with that rocket, it can hit you before your next rocket is loaded, like 2 quick wall shots. Be aware of your speed, it greatly impacts wall syncs and pre-fire wall shots. As you practice, you'll build up an awareness of your speed and how it affects them. In Jump 2, you need to maintain your height with consistent walls. Like with any skip, the rest of the jump becomes much easier if you enter it going low and fast. Your aim for the wall shots will be very different depending on which launcher you use. For stock, start by aiming low on the left and trying to gain height, though it might not be as far down as you initially think. Your second shot on the left wall should be slightly more forwards to gain height and propel yourself into the right wall. The right wall requires aiming further down and more forward than the left wall did. Now you're going faster though, so for this left wall shot, aim even higher and further forward to push yourself towards the next wall. On the last wall, aim high and the furthest forwards of all these wall shots to get to the end. For the original, with height maintaining wall shots like these, you want to aim further up and further forwards as you gain speed. Vertical speed is crucial, so your wall shots need to be as high as they can be without breaking your walls entirely. If you start slowing down, it's critical to get that speed back, so one extra high wall shot straight at the wall to generate speed again, and then go back to the forwards aim from there. Jump 3 has you rising in a spiral and eventually flattening out to cross a gap. It's important that you keep your vertical speed during the spiral so you don't have to fight for it when doing the straight section. Once you get there, you should be able to build horizontal speed and let your vertical speed carry you through the rest of the jump. With stock, you want to aim close in and pretty far in front of you. That means that you need to turn your mouse further left than you would during a straight up and down wall climb. As you gain speed towards the end of the jump, you start to look higher with each shot. For original, you can gain height best by holding M1 and aiming like it's a wall climb. Aim high enough and you won't really even need to strafe, since the rocket is also pushing you out fast enough. Once you're done with the first part, it's time to flatten out and go for speed. If you're relatively slow, get more speed by aiming a little higher and further back. Otherwise, you can start going faster and higher by aiming far in front and increasingly higher with each rocket. Jump 4 has descending wall shots where you need to get distance, but the tops of the walls keep getting lower. It's possible to take these walls one at a time, doing repeated catching rockets to prevent you from losing too much vertical speed, but it's much more common to go out low and a bit faster, setting up a sync to take you most or all the rest of the way. When doing the wall sync method, aim your first rocket high so you go out fast and low. Your second rocket should be roughly at the top of the second pillar. You want to send yourself almost as if you did a pogo there. Then you pre-fire towards the second or third wall after the turn, depending on speed. You may need to tap S if you're going a bit too fast. Once you hit a good sync, the jump should be easy from there. When doing the wall shots method with stock, walk off and place your first rocket well behind you. Subsequent shots need to place the rocket beneath you to catch yourself over and over. You'll need to aim low and in front. Similar to wall pogo, if you pop off the wall, your rocket was too high, and if you start to fall, it was too low. If doing those wall shots on original, walk off and get some initial speed for the jump. For Rocket 2 and beyond, you're going to keep using catching rockets, which are aimed as if you're doing wall pogo, but kind of at an angle. When doing it with wall shots instead of the sink, you can also skip a bunch of walls to clear more distance, but be careful that you don't let yourself fall too fast. Jump 5 is fairly standard walls with a turn, but you will need powerful wall shots to clear the gaps and still maintain good vertical speed. Start with a powerful rocket jump and good speed. First wall shot builds more horizontal speed for the gap between the second and third walls. All the wall shots after that need to maintain your vertical speed. This jump will require a better understanding of good wall shot aim than the previous ones. Wall shot aim is affected by a huge number of factors: your horizontal and vertical speed going into the jump, the angle you approach the wall, and speeds that you want to be going out of the jump. Routing considerations and the context of the whole jump all play a factor. At this stage, I'd recommend a practice drill. If you don't already have one, you'll need to set up a no-clip bind like the one I show here, and play offline. Once that's set up, go into no-clip, launch yourself at the wall by moving at it and stopping no-clip, and then start no-clip again. Hold crouch because that affects your aim, and then try to shoot rockets that they explode in a straight line horizontally, roughly at your knees. For original, you should also get used to shooting roughly chest level in front of you. You tend to do a lot of pre-fire rockets with original, and because the rocket takes more time to get to the wall, you need to end up aiming higher so it still explodes close under you. Alright, now let's get to the jump itself. Let's start with stock. The first rocket jump is critical for getting good initial speed. A weak rocket jump makes this jump significantly harder, so make sure that your start is good enough. Walk to the left and aim straight down or slightly behind to get a good start with good speed and height. Using Speedo can help you judge whether your first rocket jump is good. You can get about 500 hammer units per second with a really good rocket jump, but anything above 400 is plenty good, at least if you're aiming straight down. Start with the aim you used from the drill that made a rocket explode directly beneath you. Because you're moving forwards, it's going to end up exploding a bit behind you, giving you more speed. Strafe so that you can keep a large portion of your speed and aim for your next rocket. Your next rocket can be aimed so it explodes a bit in front of where you are when you shoot it. By the time it reaches the wall, you'll be in front of it, but it'll still be close to you. So it's going to be another powerful rocket giving you speed and height. The third rocket on the right wall has the same idea. Just go even further in front because you're going faster, but still aim low. If those first 4 rockets are good, the rest of the jump should be relatively easy. If they're bad, the rest of the jump is practically impossible, so focus all of your efforts on improving those initial rockets. Just remember that for those left wall shots, at the speed you'll have, you'll want to aim pretty far in front and high up. For original, it's the same idea as stock. That is, you want to keep your rockets close to you so they're as powerful as possible. For the ground rocket, you'll need to aim behind to get the initial horizontal speed you need. Find the seam that's aligned with the height of the floor and then count up 4 squares. You should be able to shoot your first wall shot at that height while also getting between 400 and 500 hammer units per second of horizontal speed. For the first wall shot, you need to aim pretty far back and much higher than you might initially expect. On the second wall shot, you'll want to tuck your rocket into the wall, by which I mean you pretty much face the wall straight on, looking just a little down. For the third rocket, you'll have enough speed that you probably need to start looking in front a decent bit, but if you're a little slower, you will need to do another tucked rocket. If you do those first wall shots well, you'll be moving fast into the corner. Now it's time to aim very far in front of you. This very far in front aim with the original keeps your speed and gives you height. It's going to feel unnatural at first, but it's the key to leveling up your wall shots. For jump 6, there's a couple of approaches. Either you resync in the water for a triple, or you do a double into wall shots to get to the floating wall. For most people, I suspect that doing a water triple isn't very hard by now, and it's easy enough to just triple over and use the wall for any help you need at the end. If you really want to do it with a water double and wall shots, most of the difficulty on this jump is going to be in getting that water double powerful enough and in the right direction. I recommend walking off and doing the double in a moving way, so you do a moving water double and then do your wall shots from there. I like to refer to jump 7 as the washer machine. You go around in a circle and there's water at the bottom. There's an alternate approach to this jump where you just go to the back wall and then speed shot off the start platform, but there's a lot that you can learn from the normal form of the jump, so I'd encourage you to try it the intended way. Much of your success in this jump is going to come from how you do the first couple rockets. Your ground rocket should get you minimal height with as much speed as you can muster, so you want to aim very far back. Technically, C-taps are really good for this kind of thing because they make your jump start very low to the ground, but they're far from necessary here, so it's only relevant if you're already really good at them. The wall shots you need change a lot depending on how fast and high you are, so it's going to be a matter of learning what to react to and what options you have. The tools you have are waiting to shoot, varying your aim, and slowing down by either tapping S, holding D into the walls, or slamming into walls by choosing to strafe during the turn a little less. For aiming the wall shots, with original you generally want to aim fairly high up, either a bit ahead or directly at the wall. With stock, you want to generally do a wall pogo aim, but tilted or twisted further to the left, depending on how far forward you want to place the rocket. You can either shoot all 4 walls to slide on the ramp, or skip the last wall shot and do a speed shot instead. Depends on your setup and your personal preference. The last 2 jumps are a big step up, and require a lot of improvement to beat the first time. In jump 8, you do wall shots with a ramp surf that leads to either a pre-fired wall shot or a wall sink towards the end. The first 3 rockets are very important. Get as much speed as you can with your first 2 rockets. You want to be moving at around 1100 hammer units per second horizontal speed. This is because the 3rd rocket should be pre-fired at the wall next to the ramp. Why pre-fire the wall? It's because you want to start sliding up the ramp and then get a boost in vertical and horizontal speed from the rocket. Plus, you can shoot the next wall shot earlier because you pre-fired that rocket. That means that you can get way higher and faster with your 2 rockets that you use to get around the corner. And you're going to need that height and speed to set up for the sink. Once you're able to get relatively high on that right wall for the sink every few attempts, it's time to focus on making that sink good. You want to be careful of your horizontal speed. It's easy to go too fast and outrun your pre-fire, which can make the pre-fire weak or make it miss you entirely. Learn to judge your speed and tap S if you're moving too fast. Pre-fire pretty high up. It's a common mistake to be too shy with your pre-fire and aim it so low that it's too weak to be effective. You'll also want to be careful that you don't shoot the corner, because then your rocket's explosion won't even hit you. If you do a good sink, you'll be set up to make it the rest of the way. Almost all of the difficulty is in getting the first 3 rockets and getting that sink, so I don't even think it's worth spending time talking about the other parts of the jump. You still want to practice good wall shots for those parts though. You have some wiggle room, but if you're too sloppy it'll start to hurt you too much. Your first time around, the wall shots required for jump 9 will seem perfect. But I've got good news. There's a huge difference between a good wall shot and a perfect one, and while you do need good wall shots nearly every time, you don't need perfection. The trick is to keep almost all your vertical speed with every rocket, which means that you want to never wait before you can shoot the next rocket, and every rocket should feel like it's maximizing height gain. This means that the aim for most of the wall shots are going to feel like wall pogo aim, but slightly higher and angled further left so that the rockets still end up landing right under you. That being said, you'll need to start the jump by getting some initial horizontal momentum to clear some of the early gaps between the walls. With stock, that means aiming to the right to get some initial speed. With original, you probably just want to aim straight down and then get that speed from the first wall shot instead. When in doubt in this jump, try aiming a little higher. Kinda like how you learned in medium walls that you've been holding D too long and overstrafing to the wall, you've probably also learned to shoot lower than you need to. Shooting too high will ruin the attempt, But if you shoot just a little below that, you're maximizing power. So don't just walk away from that opportunity to get more knockback. At the end of the jump, there's this long wall. You can beat it with wall shots, but you can also take it slow and just do wall pogo. Wall pogo is often easier for your first time around, because you can just take your time to get the height that you need for later on that wall. I know this video has been a long time coming, but life's been busy, in a good way, and I've left this channel kinda on the back burner. Thanks for your patience and all your comments, praise, and feedback. I'll make sure to get hard pogo and hard mix done before the year's out too. Let me know if there's any other videos you want me to make. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.